Have any of you guys seen the movie Mean Girls where they act all nice to each other's faces?
Love your skirt. Where did you get it?
It was my mom's in the 80s.
Vintage.
But when you peel away the facade, you start to realize how awful they actually are.
Thanks.
That is the ugliest effing skirt I've ever seen.
Yes, they have this book, a list of people they're allowed to gossip about for their own benefit.
What's that say? Caitlin Cousin is
Fat whore.
This is the real-life version of Mean Girls, and in many ways, the characters are way worse than they are in the movie. Hello, Teabags, and welcome back to the wide world of tea. It's a goddamn circus, and these are the clowns.
Gabbie Hanna.
If you've kept up with my channel at all over the summer, you'd be very aware of the Tea Channel audit going around. They're a community that will have one creator make a video exposing someone, and if the video does well, other Tea Channels will hop in, whether the information is correct or not. Each new video by each new creator needs to be more damning, more extravagant than the last, until they get to a point where they're just making shit up about the person. They turn them into such a monster, Gabbie Hanna, one of their victims, started to have a breakdown about it. And in response, the Tea Channels demonized her even more.
She says that and she names me for 15 minutes.
Yeah, cause you suck. When a Tea Channel says rotten stuff about Gabbie or the commentary guys, it's okay, we could take it. We're relatively healthy individuals, and we now have a community that will step up and give both sides. But what if this was applied to someone who was already under some serious mental and physical stress? What if they were actively going after her livelihood? What if they made up conspiracies about her family to find a non-existent boogeyman to put the blame on? Their victim is Eugenia Cooney. If you don't know who Eugenia Cooney is, she's described as one of the nicest people on YouTube.
Well, I think you're gorgeous.
Oh, thank you, Kira. Well, you are gorgeous too. Thank you. I appreciate that.
She does makeup videos, cosplay, and if you haven't already noticed, she suffers from anorexia.
I think you'd probably be a little prettier if you weren't dying.
People will go into her live streams and say some really mean things.
See the fan art of you on the beach with your mom. I did.
And although she's able to play it off most of the time and put on a smile.
Why do I look like a skeleton?
Why do you look
I
like
don't
a
know.
skeleton?
I don't really think I look like a skeleton really, but I mean, I think skeletons are cool, so.
You're leaving comments about your deteriorating health. Shame on you and shame on them. Your days are numbered, just look at you.
But eventually, they wear her down.
I don't really know why some of you guys are so demanding of me. Like, guys, like, the thing is, like, you guys don't understand, okay? Like, everyone just comes to my streams, like, literally to attack me lately, okay?
All of her videos have been dislike bombed to hell.
Your body is actually disgusting. You are the bane of my existence. If you are going to starve yourself, why don't you speed up the process by killing yourself? Slit your wrist, please. Some point you're gonna die, and not many people are gonna care.
Point is, Eugenia Cooney is not new to hate. In fact, she's been around so long, people have gone on to hate her parents. It's a long story, but I think giving the context is important, because in many ways, it's a lot like the Gabbie Hanna, Jessie Smiles situation. Eugenia Cooney has always suffered from her eating disorders. She mostly keeps her battle private, trying to focus on things that keep her happy, like makeup, clothes, video games. But since anorexia is a visually obvious thing, it's become the focal point of her audience. In 2019, she was definitely at her lowest point. Pictures of Eugenia Cooney in 2019 shows that she was at a low point. Even PewDiePie, who never touches that side of the internet, said something.
I don't know how to talk about this. I don't know what to say, but Eugenia Cooney uploaded this video a few days ago, and I just really want people to send her as much support and love as possible. And I really mean that. I think that's the only thing she needs right now.
This is where the rabbit hole of information begins. It's 2019, Eugenia Cooney is 25 years old. Her mom mostly lives with her, and she had a YouTube friend named Jacqueline Glenn invite her out of the house to do an escape room. Well, surprise, it's an intervention. Jacqueline has Eugenia taken away by police, citing that she's at risk of self-harm. This is called a 5150.
I did lie to her. I lied to her. We all kind of did. We pretended we were going to go to an escape room, which is a thing that we would regularly do, so it seemed believable to her and her mom.
She was kept for 48 hours in a mental hospital, with the maximum they can hold you being 72 hours. She ended up getting out a day early. In the US, 72 hours is as long as they could legally keep you unless you sign up yourself or admit you're suicidal. Jacqueline Glenn was seen as a hero by the tea community for saving Eugenia's life by 5150ing her. The problem is that's not really how 5150s work. It's just detaining you until you want to leave. Here's the full context. Jacqueline Glenn is friends with Eugenia Cooney, but she never expressed obvious concern until she 5150'd her. She admits it herself.
She also used a lot of the same verbiage to us when we were meeting with her. saying, why didn't you guys ever express this to me more strongly before? She did say that it seemed like we didn't care before, but that we tried. We were very delicately trying to bring things up because we were fearful that her mother would never let her hang out with us.
So in Eugenia's eyes, she's getting jumped and backstabbed by people who never said anything in the first place.
At the time, I was like, okay, cool. Like, you know, their concerns, like, I appreciate them caring. But this was literally the first time that any of those people ever brought any kind of concerns up to me.
And since Jacqueline never brought it up to Eugenia, it means she probably never brought it up to her mother. At least she never says she did. So in mom's eyes, her daughter is being kidnapped by people who self-admittedly never brought up concern in the first place. What a shit show.
Her mom yelled at me, screamed at me, tried to call the cops on me to have me arrested for kidnapping. Her mom is somebody who is manipulative.
Does she cite anything or give an anecdote for why the mom's manipulative? No, and it's made even more confusing when Eugenia says they were never that close of friends in the first place.
Then, like, they were going, yes, they were saying that, and it's like, I was just so confused because I'm like, you guys have not talked to me about this in person. I don't know what is going on. I don't know why you're saying that. We were kind of friends at the time. We weren't really, like, as close, I guess, as they would kind of make things into later.
Here's the facts. Eugenia Cooney was already set to sign up for an eating disorder treatment center by her mother.
I guess things were starting to get to a pretty bad point, and she, like, had a conversation with me of just, like, you know, like, you really, like, need to, like, stop this. Like, you really, at this point, like, need to do something about this. I was actually born in, like, Massachusetts originally.
Okay.
So then we figured, okay, we know some doctors there. And I did end up meeting with a doctor, and they agreed that I should, like, pretty much have to go into a program at that point.
Yeah.
And luckily it was, like, at my own will.
But of course, since Jacqueline didn't communicate with Eugenia or the mother, she didn't know Eugenia was already planning to get treatment in Connecticut. So the 5150 doesn't make much sense. Now, Jacqueline Glenn's opinion of Eugenia's mother literally stems from, if I had a daughter, I wouldn't let this happen.
I just don't know how, if I had a daughter, that I would let it get that far without doing something myself.
Eugenia is 27 years old. She is a grown-ass adult. In the United States, you can't force somebody to get treatment unless they want to be there. So 5150s in this situation don't really do anything meaningful. It's such an ignorant thing to say about parents whose kids suffer from this. Here's a licensed therapist with actual anorexic patients explaining why that's the case.
I've talked about that a lot, that you can't force anyone into treatment because you can't make them get better.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're the one that has to do the work, and you're the one that has to be there.
They then go on to say how 5150s can do more harm than good.
Yeah, when we do get 5150, unfortunately, they don't take you to, like, eating disorder treatment center or anything. They take you to a hospital, and it can be really scary because it's in kind of like dodgy parts of town. You often sit with a lot of homeless people waiting in the waiting room, and floridly psychotic people who are on the psych floor itself. So it can feel really difficult if we just feel suicidal, or if we've been 5150'd against our will. For eating disorder reasons, we're in with everybody. This is why a lot of you have told me that 5150s for you have been more detrimental than actually beneficial to treatment. Because it's, like, traumatizing in and of itself, and you don't have any rights, and it can feel very disempowering, I guess, is the best way.
I completely agree.
So pardon me if I get a little bit annoyed when Jacqueline talks about herself as if she's some sort of hero.
We are the ones that forced her to get help by tricking her, having an intervention, and calling mental health professionals that had her committed.
If you would have just communicated with the mom or Eugenia, you would have known she was already going to get treatment. But whatever helps you sleep at night, dude. Let's be clear, her mother signing her up for an ED treatment center is what helped her, not you sending her to some sketchy psych ward. Now, I don't want people to be mad at Jacqueline. I think she was coming from a good place where panic and emotion led her to doing something drastic. The people you should be mad at are the T-channels that have taken these narratives and run with them to the absolute extreme. Because much like the beef between Jessie Smiles and Gabbie Hanna, the T-channels would only listen to one side. Everything Jacqueline says is 100% true, and everything Eugenia says is 100% false. Let's spin the wheel and see which T-tard is going to be up first. It's Pastel Belle. Pastel Belle is someone who will make a video giving advice to Eugenia Cooney about her eating disorder.
She needs to be working on it. She needs to be working on improving.
Then at the same time say she's not an expert in EDs.
I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm an expert or I know Eugenia, because I don't.
While also discrediting a licensed therapist whose patients have anorexia.
And don't let the Katie Morton, Eugenia Cooney collab videos lull you into thinking that she's okay. Any truly concerned therapist would have done their best to get her off of social media and into emergency therapy as quickly as possible.
She wants to sensationalize this girl's disease without taking accountability for anything she says. It gets so ridiculous, so mean-spirited, she ends up doing exactly what she says is wrong in her very first video. Like Hello Leash or Angelica Oles, her videos when first touching on a topic start off sweet, genuine concern.
One of the things that really has always made me upset about this whole Eugenia situation is how everyone on the internet is always saying like, oh, you should just eat a burger, like, what's wrong with you? Like, you look so gross, your body looks disgusting, you're so skinny, you're gonna die. Those comments are completely unhelpful. Completely unhelpful. Oh my god.
Belle even cites her own experience with her own eating disorder.
My coping skill was always to punish myself. Always to, like, make myself suffer rather than reaching out and getting help. So when someone comes at you and says, like, you look disgusting, and you are going to die.
Ew, I'm sorry, but she's quite disgusting looking. Ew.
You should get help cause you're going to die and you know it.
That wasn't really very nice.
It made me feel like I should punish myself even more for other people being inconvenienced by me.
This is what I would like to call rolling the snowball. See, she's already given the only honest, fair take she can on Eugenia, so if she makes another video, she has to take things a little bit farther. And boy, does she make a lot of videos. So a year goes by since Eugenia Cooney appeared on the Shane Dawson documentary, and people start to realize she's relapsing. So naturally, these T channels want to make another video on it, but how do you make it more exciting than the last time? Well, find someone to blame.
Eugenia has been essentially cut off from any contact she has with positive influences in her life who are trying to help her. So now the only influence she has is that of her parents, who are either incapable of or unwilling to get her actual help.
It's so crazy that she's just made up the fact that Eugenia's only friends that care about her are these three people. And what a rotten way to frame her parents. Is that backed up with anything? Well, yes, it's backed up with a clip of Eugenia asking her mom if her switch is upstairs.
Let's see. Yeah, let me see. Maybe I could try. Hello? Hi, so just so you know, like, is my switch still upstairs? Can I, like, get it?
What? Is that not enough proof that her parents don't care about their own daughter's eating disorder? What about this clip of her dad asking her to come downstairs?
But thank you guys. Four people downstairs that need to speak to you immediately.
Are you kidding?
No.
Wait, why?
They want to make sure you're okay.
Oh, I'm fine.
You gotta go down there. Wait, let's go.
This is most likely police and paramedics coming to the door to check if she's okay. Her chat often calls 911 saying she's entered cardiac arrest live on stream. Belle has somehow twisted this into parental abuse. The abusive parents theory starts back to Jacqueline Glenn's comments on Eugenia's mom. But since there's no proof or story backing any of these claims up, T channels have decided to find awkward clips of her parents and frame that as proof.
All right, fine. All right, guys. Fine, I'll get off. Okay, hold on 1 second.
It became such a popular narrative that this guy decided to cite a tarot card reading and people fucking loved it.
It'd be like her having enough money, but her, like, someone could, like, pretend like it's not enough, or someone could, like, say, oh, it fell through, oh, it wouldn't work, oh, it wouldn't, you know, do that. Like, there's something weird.
I think the mom has total control over, like, Eugenia's money.
This is insane. He's just come out here spewing bullshit over somebody's eating disorder and family using tarot cards.
The page of cups being reversed means that Eugenia does not enjoy anything that's going on. So if anybody is telling you otherwise, I mean, Eugenia is not pleased.
Thank you, Psychic, and we'll be hearing more from you in a minute, but I do want to say that Eugenia's dad is a creepazoid.
Bro, this video has 200,000 views.
I just feel like she needs medical help. She doesn't need daddy's compliments telling her that little girl looks pretty. But I do want to hear what the Psychic says about the dad, because period poo, you can't change the stars.
Bruh, this abusive parent narrative is hard to disprove because it's Eugenia's word against people who don't know her.
I truly believe that people in her inner circle are purposely withholding help in order to capitalize off of her condition, which is beyond disturbing to think about. I have no idea what is going on behind the scenes. I don't know what's going on in her head, and I'm not trying to make it seem like I'm an expert or I know Eugenia, because I don't. She's a stranger online that I have never met.
Well, then why are you commenting like you know for a fact? This is very common behavior for Pastel Belle. She'll say it's Eugenia's family keeping her anorexic for views, when 2 minutes earlier in the same video, she'll cite that her views are dropping because because of her anorexia.
As her videos are getting less and less views and the dislike ratios are climbing with each video.
If views are down and dislikes are up, how could they be making money off her ED then? Statistically speaking, the most profitable time on her channel was when she was getting better and recovering. Pastel Belle fabricated this argument to get people riled up, to make a boogeyman everyone could hate. But there's people that are going to buy into that narrative because they don't trust Eugenia. They just like Jacqueline Glenn more. That's why I've gone out of my way to interview somebody that actually stayed with her and her mother for a whole week. He slept with them, he ate with them, he got to see the home life. Everyone, I'm here with Drew is sharing. He's going to tell us his experience. I think he knows Eugenia a little bit. How you doing, Drew?
Yo, I'm doing good, man.
So, Drew, how do you know Eugenia?
So we met through the really, really old school live streaming site YouNow. Back when it was like a totally different site to how it is now, and it was like a proper vlogging community. But then we just sort of, I guess, like everyone who was big on that site knew each other, and over time, like, just kept in contact with people. So when I went to America in like 2015, I think I hung out with Eugenia like 3 times, but then I ended up staying at her house for like a week.
So you stayed at her house for a week when you went to America. So did you get to like know her and her family pretty well?
Yeah. So basically, I went to jail in Pennsylvania.
Oh, God.
And then, yeah, that was a story for another time. But yeah, I went jail, and then I was on bail, and it was quite a serious thing, actually. I was looking at like 10 years. And
oh my God.
Yeah, I was very, very scared, and I didn't know anyone who even was remotely close to Pennsylvania. So I was like, I thought Eugenia Cooney lived kind of close. So I hit her up on a whim. Turned out she lived like a 16-hour coach journey away, and her parents were just like, you know, they heard the whole situation over the phone. They were like, yeah, come by, you can stay as long as you want, and they really, really helped out.
Since you were there a week, you got to hang out with her family for a little bit, and I guess how would you describe like her relationship with her family? Does it seem normal? Is it off?
No, it seems like a really nice family, to be honest. Like, I remember seeing the Shane Dawson stuff, and I was like, what? This is so strange, because it all seemed to be making out as if her mum was like some mad person, when I think her mum was one of the nicest people I ever met, and the dynamic seemed perfectly normal. You know, I could tell that, you know, she really cared for Eugenia.
Yeah, so I've been looking at a lot of these tea channels, right? And a lot of them are trying to find someone to blame with the Eugenia Cooney stuff, and her mom tends to be a topic that comes up a lot. Is there, like, and how she's like using her anorexia to get views, and the anorexia is like part of the scheme to keep her relevant. Is there any reason why her mom would want Eugenia to be anorexia? Is there any validation to that?
No. If anything, it's the complete opposite. Like, when I was there, you know, she tried to feed me, like, you know, as much as she possibly could. I guess from where she, like, you know, doesn't manage to do that with Eugenia, as annoying as that must be for her. And you can tell that she tries, you know. And I think there's the difference between, you know, her mum being supportive of her YouTube and trying to make sure that her mental health is okay, to actually supporting her being anorexic. You know, those are two different things.
Yeah. So what do you mean by that? Like, does her mom...
So, like, you know, if Eugenia needs help with, like, a YouTube video, I'm sure her mum is going to help her out with a YouTube video, right? And like, if indirectly that looks like her mum's trying to show off her anorexia and stuff, it might look that way, but it's definitely not the case. Like, you know, if you have a daughter and they're making YouTube videos and they have a bad mental health space and they have an eating disorder, you're going to want to support them in like anything that they find happiness from.
Yeah. And you said she was trying to feed you guys constantly. How was that like at the house?
Yeah. Like, I would wake up in the morning, 10 in the morning, and she would have bought me like 2 Wendy's burgers and stuff. And she'd be like, yeah, let me know when you want me to heat them up. And I'd be like, oh, this is amazing.
That's so funny, dude. So she sounds like any like Italian mom, dude. She sounds like my grandma.
yeah, it was fucking great. That's like the most supportive mum I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah. Well, dude, you're going to have to tell that Belle story sometime on your channel, man.
I did a couple years ago. If you search up why I went to jail with Sam Pepper, then it will come up.
There you go. Drew is sharing, everybody. Thank you, Drew. I'll try and link that video down in the description. I appreciate it, man.
Hell yeah, man. Well, I hope this sort of sorts everything out, because it does look really annoying seeing all this from the outside and seeing people, you know, make her mum out to be some horrible person when it's just not true.
Guys, can we just think about this for 1 second? These T channels that act like they care so much. Have they ever once reached out to anyone who knows her? Have they talked to Eugenia or anyone in her life before going on to make these crazy statements about her? Have any of them put forward the bare minimum effort that I just did right here? This took me like 10 minutes. I seriously doubt it. So we already have these T channels omitting contradictory information. We know that Pastel Belle has watched Katie Morton's video. She shows a clip proving that she's watched it, but she never actually plays any of the video. She doesn't show the parts about how the mom helped Eugenia. Instead, she shows these irrelevant clips of the family to push forward a narrative that isn't there. These two geniuses actually have an interaction on Twitter that just blows my mind. Not many creators who are more deserving of this success. If you stand unproblematic creators who have no problem going after trashy large YouTubers who've turned YouTube into a cesspool, you should be proud of Sloan. The guy who cited a tarot card reading about Eugenia's health, I should be proud of him? What? Dude, you guys are the cesspool. You guys are some of the most toxic people on this website, and this is only the beginning of the poison they push. How about the danger of Eugenia Cooney, pro-Anna content? Pro-Anna, sometimes referred to as thinspo, is someone who is an advocate for an anorexic lifestyle. They claim she's influencing kids to be anorexic. So it's no longer about how awful the disease is and caring for her health. That's where we started. It's not even about the conspiracy with her parents anymore. Now it's just Eugenia herself for just existing with anorexia on social media. And remember, Eugenia Cooney's content has nothing to do with her ED. It's the kind of content you'd see from any other YouTuber. Gaming, clothes, shoes, that's it. So what do these people do? Well, they reach as far as they can. Just throw shit at the wall until something sticks. They've demonized her so much, they could pretty much say anything at this point and people will believe it.
Which brings us to the subject of YouTube's largest pro-Anna content creator, Eugenia Cooney. And yes, I did refer to her as a pro-Anna content creator because despite the facade of doing makeup tutorials, cosplay, and clothing haul videos, what Eugenia Cooney is really pushing is thinspo and a very dangerous pro-Anna agenda.
You gotta love how her proof of this is just Eugenia existing in the thumbnails. Like, she adds these giant red arrows as if we can't already see her. How is Eugenia supposed to show off her new outfit without wearing the outfit? When Eugenia is showing off her new shoes in the thumbnail, this lady adds a giant red arrow pointing towards her crotch. Like, dude, I think this says more about your character than her being pro-Anna.
Eugenia Cooney is 100% doing this. You can see it in her thumbnails, you can see it in her Instagram posts, you can see it in the Twitter posts, you can see it pretty much everywhere that she posts online. There's one particular Instagram post that I'm going to be talking about, and it occurred on October 25th. Attached to this photo, she has a caption that says, "What you think about yourself is more important than what others think of you." So in this photo, it seems like on the surface, it's about like positivity and self-love and self-care and things like that, which are great and wonderful things.
Watch how she'll twist this.
However, I have a hard time believing that this caption is about loving yourself and wanting to take care of yourself, because clearly she is not taking care of herself.
Well, she's not getting better, so clearly she's trying to indoctrinate the youth. So people who are sick with a mental and physical disorder can't write positive messages. She has a clip where she sits here and picks apart how Eugenia looks.
In this photo, she's posed and you can see her arms, her tendons are very pronounced. You can see her collarbones.
Yeah, man, she's anorexic. They have arms too. She then follows this up by saying,
and I'm not going to go too deep into what she looks like in the photo because I don't think that's productive.
Bro, you just did that. You just described every part of her body, her tendons. What more could you have said? And people love this, man. They ate it up. iNabber left a comment. This really is a fantastic video. No, it's not. This is one of the most toxic videos I've ever seen.
Her Instagram basically follows that same pattern of posting a photo of herself looking very sickly, looking very thin, and then some kind of caption that is vaguely about self-care, self-love, or the importance of taking care of yourself.
She literally described the entire app that is Instagram. Everyone posts a picture of themselves with some stupid goddamn quote. And because this is the tea community and nobody does research of their own, people like Repzilla are citing Belle as a credible source. This is how tea channels do research. They watch each other's false information and then build off it with their own false false information. Bro, can you believe the guy who cited an article he couldn't even be bothered to read also cited Pastel Belle? You couldn't write something better than this. Now, since you got Repzilla making his video, he needs to bring something new to the table as well. He needs to up the ante just a little bit. See, Eugenia Cooney is clearly pro-Anna because she used a blue butterfly emoji.
She's become somewhat of a YouTube villain. And some of the things she does just seems too much of a coincidence, like posting captions with a blue butterfly.
There you go, guys. A blue butterfly. That's the hard evidence. That's why Eugenia Cooney has become a villain. The blue butterfly has been linked to pro-Anna circles before. Eugenia actually responded to this. Just so you guys know, me posting a butterfly emoji is not at all meant to mean anything bad. I just like butterflies. There's really no hidden message to it. Probably the most rotten part about all this to me is these tea channels are always framing their videos as if they're the hero.
I reached out to Eugenia and asked if she would be willing to watch that video. I thought that maybe it would help her and maybe she would be able to relate to it and it would inspire her to get the help that she needs. Unfortunately, she didn't respond. I thought for a long time about what else I could do to help Eugenia and to help other people who are struggling with this. And the only thing I could come up with in my head was to unsubscribe from her YouTube channel and to report her Instagram account and unfollow.
Guys, I did all I could. I sent her my YouTube video. Only thing left to do is ban her.
This is not me trying to cancel Eugenia.
Yes, it is. It's by definition you trying to cancel her. I'm not canceling her. I'm just trying to take away her social media accounts, her job, everything she loves in life.
I don't want her hurting kids with her platform. I don't want her to advocate for pro-Anna content.
The evidence used for Eugenia being a thinspiration for kids is accounts with very few followers, posts that are years old and are usually getting ratioed by other users. And if you look at the dislikes on her videos or the people following her on Twitter, it becomes very clear that her audience is not made up of kids.
And I don't want her to either directly or indirectly send the message that there is nothing wrong with having an extremely dangerous ED.
The problem with Belle's argument is that the only evidence of Eugenia being pro-Anna is that she is anorexic. Even when she disavows people trying to look like her, saying she's not trying to tell kids anything.
Are you telling kids that this is natural? Guys, listen, I'm not trying to tell kids anything. Nothing I'm saying right now is like a message to kids about how their body should look. Listen, I'm not trying to say like I'm so perfect. I'm not trying to say like make me your role model. I'm not trying to say that like at all. Okay, I'm just kind of doing the best like I can in life and all that. And I'm sorry, I'm not like, I can't really babysit like all the kids on the internet and things like that.
And no matter what she says, how she says it, it doesn't matter, because in these T channel's eyes, she's already guilty.
Even if Eugenia is saying that she doesn't want to be thinspo for these people, she is. And she can't ignore that. Like, the facts are right here. There's so much evidence that she is. So I don't understand how she can sit there and act like she's not.
Yeah, this is literally the argument people made for PewDiePie being alt-right. He was posted to an alt-right website by alt-right people, and even though he disavowed it, he was still declared alt-right. Now, is that fair? No, of course not, because statistically speaking, if you have millions of subscribers, you're going to have a few extreme people in there. See, turning Eugenia Cooney into a boogeyman, giving all of her audience EDs, apparently wasn't far enough. They decided to promote a petition. The Remove Eugenia Cooney from YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter petition. And the first person I found promoting this was Jacqueline Glenn. Yes, the same person who 5150'd Eugenia.
It also goes on to explain that YouTube states in its TOS that they don't allow content that encourages dangerous or illegal activities that risk serious physical harm or death.
Yo, they're trying to ban her on a technicality. I guess if you can't see the person with anorexia online, that means they don't exist. If Eugenia Cooney just having an eating disorder qualifies her as encourages dangerous activities, well, what about other eating disorders? Nikocado Avocado is someone whose actual content relies on feeding his disorder. This is how he looked when he started his channel.
I haven't made a video for about 1 week now.
This is him now. As if we're talking about self-harm and eating disorders, does he need to be banned too? Interestingly enough, Pastel Belle actually made a video about this. Let's stop comparing Eugenia Cooney and Nikocado Avocado.
In my opinion, the two are not really comparable at all. So while Nick definitely does seem to have some disordered eating habits and some very unhealthy relationships with his body image and with food, I think that his ED is very different from Eugenia's.
No, what? These two? You think they're different? Huh. Yeah, man, I'm really confused. How How are these two different? You know, I think it might have something to do with him eating a truckload of food every upload. Just fucking say it. She's so worried about offending someone. Watch how she tiptoes around this.
We can see that Eugenia's is much more closely aligned with what society deems as beautiful for young people. And even though her body is not necessarily the ideal, it is much more similar to what is conventionally attractive, which is to be thin. Whereas Nikocado Avocado is not really within what is societally deemed as conventionally attractive.
He's a fat fuck, she's underweight, and both their eating disorders are ruining their lives. I like how in the most professional way, she tries to say that Nick's ugly.
Nikocado Avocado is not really within what is societally deemed as conventionally attractive. We can see that Eugenia's is much more closely aligned with what society deems as beautiful. It is much more similar to what is conventionally attractive, which is to be thin.
Wouldn't that make Eugenia a victim of society then? Isn't she a symptom of a greater problem? Take it up with Hollywood and the modeling industry then. If you look at her comments, Twitch donations, not many people want to look like her. She gets made fun of more for the way she looks than anyone I've seen online. And if this is a societal conventional beauty problem, then you're just kind of victim blaming her.
Nikocado Avocado is not really within what is societally deemed as conventionally attractive. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with him because of that. I'm just saying that his content is not going to influence people to want to look like him.
What do you mean? This is peak male performance. Just look at the mental gymnastics Pastel Belle has taken us through to try and derail this conversation. It starts off with Eugenia Cooney and how even though her content isn't based around her eating disorder, her just being on camera can still trigger some viewers' ED.
She's causing many of her young and vulnerable viewers to have eating disorders of their own and to cause relapses for those who might already be struggling.
They then go into the self-harm argument, citing how you can't upload content that encourages dangerous or illegal activities. The activity being existing with an ED. When people point out that Nikocado has a binge eating disorder that's negatively affecting his life, statistically speaking, there's a lot more people for him to cause relapses for, and unlike Eugenia, his content actually revolves around his disorder. Clickbaiting his disorder gives him views. When the same arguments, the same logic can be used about Nick, it's different due to society. For fuck's sake, he sells merch about his eating disorder.
My weight is a medical mystery. And you people will buy this shirt to support this channel.
This guy's monetizing his ED, but remember, when it's about him, it's a conventional beauty conversation. Fact is, if you're going to ban somebody just for having an eating disorder, you aren't really fixing the problem. You're just kind of hiding it. I think Boogie worded it really well.
It's okay to exist on this space if you are very fat or if you are very skinny. It's okay to exist if you have an eating disorder. And that's just a fact. You can't deplatform somebody for being sick. You can't deplatform somebody for existing.
Pastel Belle actually made a response video to this saying
that she's just skinny is kind of implying that it's just her body type. It's not something that she can help, and that's just her appearance, which has nothing to do with her physical or mental health.
Boogie clearly said she was sick. These are back-to-back clips in her videos. I don't know why she responded so dishonestly. These people are rats, man. Eating disorders are often a way to cope for most victims. Pastel Belle knows this. You see, when she was making her first Eugenia Cooney video, before it became about the never-ending chase for views, she opened up about her own eating disorder.
My coping skill was always to punish myself. Always to make myself suffer rather than reaching out and getting help. So when someone comes at you and says, you look disgusting and you are going to die,
your body is actually disgusting.
You look like you're going to die, you're very sick looking.
It made me feel like I should punish myself even more for other people being inconvenienced by me, or something just completely insane like that.
If you take away these people's jobs, money, what they love, how do you think they'll cope? You think it's realistic for Eugenia to go get a job at Walmart stocking shelves? And guess what? We're not done, ladies and gentlemen. Pastel Belle posts another video, this time all about Eugenia Cooney's underwear. Yes, if you thought T-channels couldn't stoop low enough, they always find a way to go deeper. It's almost inspiring at this point. Eugenia Cooney has just stooped to a new low. They've already framed her as an abused girl turned villain that's backstabbed her only friend willing to help her and is tricking the youth into being anorexic via blue butterflies. How could you possibly make her seem worse? Well, let's find out.
So in order to bring more views to her channel, she decided to purposely flash the camera multiple times over the course of this video. Now, I do say purposely because I do not believe this was unintentional or that she didn't realize what she was doing.
Yes, Eugenia made a shoe haul video, and when she goes to show off her shoe, a bit of pink underwear shows. Belle, of course, doesn't show this in her video, so her audience doesn't know how mild it actually is. It looks pretty accidental if you ask me, but Belle is like full-on conspiracy with it.
This is clearly a desperate and pathetic attempt by Eugenia and her mother to try to bring some more controversy and more views to her channel.
This is clearly that? Clearly? Really? The only people that bring controversy to her channel are you guys. What is the proof that makes you so sure?
We know that this was not an accident is because her underwear and her eyeshadow matched. They were the same color.
Hey, you guys remember when this was a channel that actually cared about Eugenia Cooney's health? Yeah, me neither. This is the best part.
She was wearing a plaid red outfit and her underwear was pink, and it looked like her eyeshadow was pink as well.
It's not, it's red. If you take the image into Photoshop and sample the colors, it's red. The underwear is pink. It does not match. You can delete this slanderous video now.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm getting dressed, I do not match my eyeshadow to my underwear. I match it to my shirt.
Oh my god, it does match your shirt. It's just fucking red. 300,000 people watched this video and said, yep, that makes sense. They've now demonized her so much, you can literally say anything about her and people will believe it. And this whole time, while she's making videos from banning her to her fucking underwear, Belle's making tweets like this. Anyone familiar with Tess Holliday? She's a plus-size model who just came out about her struggle with anorexia. Yes, this ED can affect anyone. Let me know if you want a deep dive on this topic. I don't think she has a Tess Holliday video on her channel because I don't think she ever intended to upload a Tess Holliday video on her channel. So you're saying Eugenia should just look like that? My god, could you pick someone who looks more unhealthy? She looks like she's about to puke in both of those photos. Eugenia, just start shoveling food down your throat like Nikocado avocado. That's the solution. Remember, listen to Belle, not the therapist. Nick Diorio had a short segment in his last video laughing at Belle's underwear criticism, to which Belle made a whole ass video in response where she doesn't even name him. She lies about all the slander she's ever made on Eugenia while also somehow doubling down on everything. You just have to see it to believe it, people.
So it's come to my attention over the last few months that there are a few edgelord creators out there on YouTube who are taking my stance on the Eugenia Cooney situation and twisting it to fit their own self-serving narratives. And I find it pretty disingenuous, but also, honestly, pretty disgusting to take a situation as serious as this and to purposely spread misinformation about it.
Is she going to show a clip or cite any of the misinformation that was said about her? No, of course not, because it doesn't exist. She's just trying to make herself a victim.
So there's this narrative out there that people with EDs and people like Eugenia should not be allowed to exist online because they have an ED. And this is gross, it's harmful, and it doesn't actually fix the problem. And this is also not something I have ever advocated for on my channel.
What the fuck, dude? Is she serious? I cannot believe she came on here and said that. Dude, you drove that narrative harder than anybody. The Eugenia Cooney petition reached 37,000 signatures, which triggered a notification to Susan Wojcicki, eShare, YouTube, and Twitch CEOs. Please protect your communities and remove or age-restrict creators who profit from self-harm and influence vulnerable young fans in the process. She's got a whole ass video titled Why I Support the Eugenia Cooney Petition.
And this is also not something I have ever advocated for on my channel. And so I'm very confused about people who try to bring this up. When people try to say that, like, I have in any way, shape, or form condoned that.
She's gonna make me do it. I can't believe it. She acts like she doesn't have 9 straight months worth of videos saying it.
She is not only allowed to post her videos, but she is also allowed to monetize them. And her videos have yet to be age restricted or removed at all. I think the best thing that you can do is block it, report it to whatever social media site.
Team YouTube, hundreds of viewers have reported Eugenia Cooney's channel in the last 2 weeks alone. She violates her TOS. At Team YouTube, Susan Wojcicki, why is nothing being done about Eugenia Cooney's channel?
And it's time starts holding itself accountable and acknowledging that this behavior is not okay for Eugenia, just like it's not okay for any other content creator on this platform.
She said some of this stuff as recently as 30 days earlier, yet here she is.
And this is also not something I have ever advocated for on my channel.
If Belle is willing to sit here and blatantly lie to save face, what else is she willing to lie about? Did she lie about not knowing the color of her eyeshadow? Was she lying about Eugenia's parents? How honest was she being about anything she said relating to pro-Anna content? That snowball she started rolling, where she had to stretch the truth a little bit more every time, time has now gotten so big, so uncontrollable, she has to pretend she wasn't the one who rolled it in the first place. Now, if you're somebody who could be triggered by watching Eugenia's videos, my answer to you is to stop watching. It's a lot more reasonable than trying to take away her job. YouTube has this neat feature where if they recommend you a video that you don't like, you can tell them to stop recommending you that channel. Belle ends the video by blaming Eugenia for her own eating disorder and relapse.
I see people online being like, oh, well, you have no way of knowing that Eugenia is actually affecting people in this way, or it's not actually her fault, or she's not causing people to be triggered or have EDs or relapse or anything like that. And I know that's not true because I know it happened to me. I got triggered and I relapsed.
Then stop watching her videos. It'll be beneficial for everyone involved. Eugenia Cooney already has to deal with a lot. She's very sick. The last thing she needs is these T channels making more conspiracy videos about her and her family. It's common for T channels to get mad at the commentary guys for being mean and using inappropriate words. They get mad because I call them retards, and I get it. Everyone has their own boundaries for what is and isn't too far. But I've never done anything like this. This is some of the meanest, most messed up shit I've ever seen on the internet. You apologize to Eugenia Cooney. She deserves that at the least. Pastel, Belle, Sloan, Repzilla. You owe her that at the very least. Shout out to the Patreon homies. Drop Z, Broke Wings, Anonymity, Hellison, Nebulous Shooter, Phoebes, Cone, and the Mega homies. Reynold Hughes, Marissa Lynn, IGP, Nesquick, Bald Boy Ajax, and Yuri Kinda Pog. These guys allow me to make longer deep dives like this without having to worry about YouTube's monetization. Follow Matt Pitt. I couldn't have made this video without him. And follow me on Twitter. I'm sure the shit show is already started.
I'll stop talking so much shit about the government, 'cause urine speaks louder than words on a politician or on a prison warden. Urine speaks louder than words.